Welcome to Meta Podcast, where combat sports, mindset, and real-life lessons collide. Hosted by Derving and Nate, we dive into jiu-jitsu, wrestling, MMA, and the grind that shapes athletes inside and outside the mat. Every episode we bring stories, strategies, and raw conversations that fuel growth, resilience, and community. Stay tuned because it's more than a fight, it's a lifestyle. Hello, welcome back to Matt Matters Podcast. Myself, Derving, and my partner in crime, Nate. How's it going, man?
Going good. How are you?
Doing good. Trying to go over some of the stuff from this week as far as MMA news and other combat sports. We won't be recording next week, so try to cover as much as possible for this week and next week. I thought about it before I started recording just now. Have you heard of the Meta Rankings that the UFC started? So they have.
I have.
What do you think about that?
I don't know a lot about. Well, I heard they were starting the ranking system, but I don't know much about it.
Mm-hmm. It is because Dana White, coincidentally, the owner of the not the owner, but the promoter of the event does not like the rankings for some reason. Usually, it's a third party. Usually, reporters that usually do the ranking. He doesn't like their opinion. Something that is valid because they make stuff crazy as far as odds. But this is what I see the article in here as June 22nd. There's a TK group holding that alongside official fan technology partner Meta. They announced the Meta UFC rankings. So whenever you go into the rankings, you'll see a ranking for UFC ranking and you see a Meta UFC ranking. So, for example, here, right now this is a Meta ranking. So you click over here, it says the media ranking. So currently the media ranking is as follow. Of course, you have the champions. Let's go to this weight class here. You got light heavyweight usually active. Magomed Ankalaev, Jerry Prochaska, Pereira, Blakovic, and Roundtree. But when you switch him, he's moving around. Yeah, I don't know what they have Pereira in there because they move off to heavyweight anyways. They move Paulo Costa. Where's Paulo Costa here? Paulo Costa is 7, but they're moving to 4th. I guess because it's more active. It makes sense, right? To Jamal Hill. Have you seen Jamal Hill?
Recently?
Yeah.
No.
So he is moving to heavyweight. He does not look like he's getting away in the right places. Someone say.
Really?
Yeah. He look like somebody's dad at cookout. Here you go. Look at him.
Dang.
Yeah. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at the athlete. Former UFC lightweight champion. Heavyweight champion, rather. But yeah, dude. Hopefully it goes well because he's getting rocked when he was the light heavyweight. Not heavyweight. But I guess I'm just speculating. They're just trying to do this ranking based off activity and not so much of holding a spot for somebody that hasn't been active. Just holding a spot in there. It makes sense. The more active you are, the higher you move up the rankings. Hopefully they favor those that go for finishes rather than just decisions. But it should even out. If you don't do as many matches, but you do more finishes, you should get rewarded for more finishes. And also, if you're more active and you're just getting decisions, you're getting points for being active. So it does make sense, right? Having the opinion of just reporters that cover other sports, kind of like boxing reporters rather than MMA reporters. But do you feel like it is a conflict of interest of Meta itself in the organization UFC, ranking these fighters and seeing like they will boost up their stock as an athlete when it comes to upcoming pay-per-view matches? Or do you think it's fair that the organization is doing this for the ranking?
To be honest, I don't feel like I know enough about it to make that call. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I like it because, like I said, that it makes more transparent in more ways to show who's like more active and finishes and things like that. Rather than, for example, Conor McGregor, he has been gone for 5 years, and he comes back, come as number two at lightweight. Like does make sense. He coming off a loss of an injury, he shouldn't be able to come that high in the rankings. But according to them, because the way he performed the last few matches, he's been injured. Come out there. Another one is I can't remember who's the name of the 170 pounder that he fought against Yamashita Gary. Do you remember his name?
Who fought
He's
against
on the
who?
he's undefeated. Rakhmonov. Shafkat
Okay.
Rakhmonov. He's undefeated
Yep.
from Afghanistan. He blew his knee. He left as an interim champion at welterweight. He's undefeated. So they drop him from the ranking, which makes sense. Last time he fought was December 2024. So in the rankings, it's probably to drop him off because he hasn't been active since then. Even though he
Yeah.
left undefeated and as a champion of the organization, it does not make sense for him to hold the spot.
No, I
Should he
agree.
should come back to top 10? Maybe. It depends how he performs when he comes back based off the injury. But also playing devil's advocate, it may seem that the organization having their own ranking system and also promote and having the promoter ranking your fighters, it can kind of seem contradicting because you might be rewarding favoritism in ranking more people of the ranking based on favoritism rather than the performance and based off what you want to sell your product as fighters.
I mean, yeah, you could definitely skew it. I mean, to favor, exciting athletes. But I feel like mainly as long as the criteria are transparent and people can see what the criteria are, then it makes it at least mostly fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's why it's just good. Also, it is good that they kept there the media ranking because it might seem like, oh, look at the compare of these two. Not going away from media ranking altogether and just using UFC ranking as a vehicle for granting titles, challenges. Because right now, if titles seems to be a nightmare, because currently there's two champions that are injured. Sean Strickland has a shoulder injury after the last fight. Carlos Ulberg blew his knee when he beat Jiri Prochaska. I forgot. Tom Aspinall still have a little boo-boo in his eye. That hasn't been able to fight.
True. Yep.
So that's the third one. So it is difficult to make matches for champions if they are injured.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if they're also more prone to injury just because they're prone to tough fights.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But as a promoter, on the promoter side, making matches for those weight classes is difficult because the titles are not being defended, they're not being run through. So, and also it puts a pending doom for anybody that's a champion. That's not a champion because you always want to fight for the belt, but since champion is not available, who do you fight trying to get there? Where do you? Because back then you had like George St. Pierre, you have Anderson Silva, Khabib Nurmagomedov. Right now, what's his name? Islam Makhachev. You see people that are dominant. It's like, oh, that's what I have to train for whenever I get there. But if there's no champion, who do you train for? What you try to beat? There's no clear path to championship. you might get an interim title, but that's no guarantee for you to become a champion nowadays.
Well, then now you got to watch out because if you're not active, waiting for that champion, you get dropped.
Yeah, and you get dropped for real. You try to hold on. But yeah, and also a lot of that back then used to be if you were interim, you were guaranteed to be a next challenger for the champion to unify the titles. But seems like a lot of them that drop, like going back to Rakhmonov, he was a champion. The champion at 170 was injured at the time. I think it's Bilal Muhammad was injured, decided to compete, and then look who they gave him to fight. What's his name? I can't remember his name right now. Jack de la Madalena. He's the one that fought Bilal Muhammad for the title. He wasn't really an interim champion. So, I mean, also Tony Ferguson, he got his title stripped whenever he got injured. Colby Covington, same thing. He didn't challenge for the title as an interim champion. So there's no guarantee that you will get to unify those belts, even though you're an interim champion. But I just found this interesting, the way they decided to do this ranking. And one interesting submission this week was that Suloev stretch that happened this weekend. We consider that submission of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I would say it's got to be. That's definitely a unique one.
Yeah. Trying to figure out how he able to get it because usually from that, in wrestling, you see that happening when somebody you're too high and trying to lock a cradle, trying to get their back. But as far as getting a knee bar off that, is unreal to get there.
Person getting knee barred is they messed up really bad.
Yeah.
It's really the only way to get there.
Did I want to say did Masvidal get knee bar like that before? I can remember correctly because he has been in a knockout of the year before whenever he did that to Ben Askren in a no, it was a triangle. That's what it was. Inverted triangle that he got caught on. Like upside down triangle. That's what he got submitted. Well, he was at 155, Masvidal. He was a knee bar. Which one of those weird submissions of the year that he was caught. He had short hair back then too. Crazy inverted triangle. And look at it up. There you go. Damn, back in the day, whenever they used to have sponsors on the shorts, that's how long it was. Yeah. So this is submission right here. He went to sleep. So you can see here, he's like trying to go for a takedown. And he got an inverted triangle. He got caught. Look at that.
Man,
99. Nasty triangle. Look at that.
that was wow. Yeah, he was just a shell for a second.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of like trying to go for a takedown and you didn't get it. It's able to lock in the triangle. When you sprawl, it's able to lock in the triangle like that. It's really crafty. You're able to pull it off.
I would say.
Because not many people are able to pull that off like that. Boom. Yeah, I will say, apparently there was another twister that happened this week. Like a submission of the month. Who didn't? Magomedov in round 1. UFC Fight Night 279. Here you go. Let me see if I go to. There you go. Hopefully, when we do this in YouTube, it doesn't actually ban us from doing this shit.
Yeah.
But it's okay. As long as we don't do it for too long, I think we should be okay. So here he has the back position on him. Body triangle. Shit, he fucked up. Right there. Damn. and he locked it right there.
That was
Have
an
you heard?
interesting one.
Yeah. Is that remind me of a lot of the Have you heard of Scottish Twister? That's what it remind me of.
Twister with the ankles crossed is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now having the
Here's
leg
Scottish Twister.
isolated.
There you go. The back again. So he has to lock in, and then he goes. Look like he's going for a Kimura, but actually he just goes straight for a Twister. So he's trying to. Okay, here he demonstrated. So back take. Better.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
Go
Huh.
for the. It looked like executioner. You go for executioner.
Yeah.
You arch back, but not so much for executioner. That's a usual Twister right there. But gnarly. If you get caught in that, what do you do?
Well, probably that.
Yeah. No, talk about that. Like in class, what do you do after that? Just get your
Okay.
shoes. Just get your shoes, eh? That's a wrap. I seen a girl pull that off. I can't remember where she did that. It's Scottish Twister. But this different promotion. But yeah, the submissions are coming a long way. Because it used to be gnarly for somebody to be able to pull a Twister and anything. Those kind of submission, freaking 10th planet submissions, as I used to go. I mean, this month we had a ninja choke, we had that Twister, and we have the Suloev stretch. Where did the name come from? That's a question now.
Suloev. Yeah, I don't know.
The only other person to do it was Aljamain Sterling. He did it against Sabik Magomed Sharapov. But the name itself, let's look up name origin. Suloev stretch is named after Amar Suloev, an Armenian-Russian mixed martial art fighter and kickboxer. He's the one that started. He first successfully used this technique in 2002 fight against Paul Kahum, a too hard to handle event in the Netherlands. Checks out. He checks out back then MMA. The term Suloev stretch was later coined by MMA writer KJ Gold. Apparently, it's a rare and highly painful submission applied from back control. Not kidding.
That
Okay.
seems accurate.
Yeah, checks out. Well, let's try to break it down a little bit. I was trying to see. I see a video here how some people get it. Because it is interesting. How do you get to that position for Suloev stretch? So it looks like he has the back here. And he hooked the far leg. As it falls, boom. He has the leg in there. The back again. This is in the match. He has the back, goes for the foot, and arch back. Because this.
Jaw.
Do you think that's more hamstring or do you think that's knee lock at that point?
I think that's more hamstring.
Yeah, okay, so
This
this.
gotta kill.
So that one looks more like a banana split.
Yeah, that does.
Run and roll for it. Because the other one, he had that right leg in, the right hook in. Yeah, this is more like a banana split, not a Suloev stretch. The wrestling, yeah, that's what I'm known for. Look for the ankle. Go for the ankle. Pull, roll right to the back. You know
Dang.
Damn, son. He has family, sir. You be doing that to him.
Yeah.
Just a kid. But yeah. No, he has both legs hooks in. Arch the ankle. Ding. You know, if you don't have both of your feet on the floor, you cannot bridge. Scientifically proven.
Yeah. Makes it even harder to bridge when your hamstring is stretched beyond its maximum.
And behind the back of your ear.
Yes.
Notice something. I have not seen a single girl getting caught in this submission. Is it women's don't perform it or women are more flexible doing this?
I mean, I feel like you could get a pretty flexible person in that and still cause them some severe pain.
Yeah. Have you have you rolled with girls that you try to do submission? It doesn't work because you give a little too much slack on something.
I was trying to think. Probably. Yeah, probably. It's been quite a while, but
Hmm. Because sometimes they don't want to be an asshole. So
right.
you lag off a little bit, but your technique has to be actually it helps you find out where your technique is really, really good. Because if somebody's able to slack off your position, you lose position, it's not good for you. If you're in a match. But you can still be able to be assertive with your technique without being an asshole. I noticed some submissions like try to go for it. When I do roll with girls, I don't often do. But when I do, it's like, am I giving too much slack or that's I fall off and they don't able to get a finish because of that. But yeah, I notice that sometimes. And sometimes it's just I mean, flowing is different than going live, which both parts are good for training. The going competition speed and flowing speed are both important. Because you're able to see so many avenues when it comes to flow.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I mean, it definitely helps to like think a little bit more about what's possible.
Hmm. Yeah. Try and go for change the position rather than getting target fixated just for one submission. It's good to be really good as a go-to submission, but at the same time you be able to be like water, like Bruce Lee said, being flexible to different things. And one thing I noticed was I have a daughter, so I usually just play wrestling around, just rough wrestling. That's one way to flow when it comes to grappling with the little ones. That's fun too. Get in a different position, just playing around. Same thing. That's what me and kids they do. It's fundamental, but at the same time, it is. I'm not say barbaric, but in us because it's a little usually just play around and just wrestle around since you were little. So why not do when you're trying to get better at submission? Keep it fun too. Another thing we try to cover it is UFC event for the UFC 329. That's usually a fighters. That's an international fight week. Usually have in Vegas. I've not heard much about it. What they gonna have this year there? This fight, let me look it up. Who's going to be in there? Of course, we have Mr. Jerome Holloway versus Conor McGregor going on. In another one, a match I'm actually more interested in is Paddy Pimblett versus Benoit Saint-Denis. That fight I'm interested in because it seems like it's going to be a title eliminator. So it's going to be next up in the ranking because Paddy Pimblett just fought against Justin Gaethje. So he was getting closer for the title, but now he's going against the French Benoit Saint-Denis, in which he loves to go for finishes. So I want to see what that fight is going to be like. Those two. I mean, Benoit Saint-Denis, I think it's like a anti-terrorist or like a green beret of the French army. He killed people for real. His daytime job.
Yeah, this is his vacation.
Yeah, this is his this is pickable hobby, in which it makes you think of the mentality it is of having that kind of mentality. Just binary, it's all binary results for him at this
Yeah,
point.
yeah, yeah,
There's no what if or not. Nah, man, we play for keeping here. Call me Gaston. I'll have your head right there on the wall. And I know this match. Another one. Oh, this might be flying under the radar. Another fight is Corey Sanhagen versus Mario Bautista. Trying to remember the last time Corey Sanhagen
I
fought.
feel like it's been a minute.
Did he fight
Okay,
Billy?
October.
I think he fought. Yeah, he fought Merab. Also, Mario Bautista. He is coming up. I think they fed him Aaron Pico. He beat Oliveira as well. No, mixed patch. That's what it was that he fought. I remember somebody that was coming from Bellator. Patchy mix, that's what it was. He beat him in a decision. He also beat Jose Aldo along the way. Mario the last loss was against Nurmagomedov. That's why he was coming off the loss against Billy. So, I mean, everybody lost against the Russians. Not many people win against the Russians. We cannot blame me on that. But, yeah, I wonder. That'd be interesting fight, this one right here. I can see this one as being one of the fights of the night. Those two guys. Man, Terrence McKinney, he's a wild guy. King Green, he's been fighting forever. But I don't know who his manager is because they put him into the main card. He has been I don't remember him winning since. Well, he lost against. That's right. He won against Stevens. But since he's changed his name, things hasn't been going well. Seth Hoover, he beat Sam Hoover. Gibson. That'll be interesting because McKinney, he is good. He likes to finish people fast. But also when he doesn't get a win, dude, he loses fast too. This one right here, Borshev, I can't remember which. It was a big event that happened. Which was this one? Topuria versus Oliveira. That's what it was. He called him in a, I think it was a guillotine. It's a nasty guillotine that he was mounted. It was so bad that he was so tight that he was bobbing like a fish trying to get out of a guillotine. Those are nightmare of a guillotine trying to get out. Have you even call it that? In a guillotine and somebody manned you, that you fall into.
You sure?
It's a nightmare trying to get out there.
There's really no escape from that one.
No. Especially they have a really cinching. Oof. Now you have Baruch Whitaker as well. I don't know how many fights he has left, but he's getting close to his retirement, Baruch Whitaker. Another guy that probably should retire is Cody Garbrandt.
Yeah, no kidding.
Dude, they dropped Tracy Cortez, my ex-girlfriend, Tracy Cortez. They had to do it like that, man. They do it through the early prelims.
Wow.
Damn.
Mm.
Damn. Alex Pereira fucked her up. Lost all her stock value. The kiss of death. She lost against Blankfeld. Damn. How many fights she had in 2024? She won. Yeah, it looks like she has having one fight years before 2025. She had two. But other than that, she only had one. When you see a fighter like that, do you think it is a weight issue that have trying to make the weight? Or do you think it's something like other injuries that might have, that they only have one fight when you're not a champion? Because when you're a champion, it makes sense. But when you're not a champion, you only have one fight a year. I think you make money if you're not fighting. That's a question too. I find that interesting. She only fights once a year. Because remember that one time she had to cut her hair to make weight. How much weight do you really lose for cutting hair?
Decent amount. I've thought about that before. Like, yeah, some of these girls with like a full head of hair, that's gonna
Yeah.
be a pound or two.
Yeah. But how much do you reach to the point that you cannot lose that much weight? I wonder.
True. Yeah.
If
True.
you lose like less than 2 pounds, is it is it just worth the squeeze? Because you will gain that weight a lot faster you will get your hair back.
True.
So at that point, what are you willing to lose?
Yeah.
And for what?
Maybe that's why Rose Namajunas.
Yeah, it's just the head of the ball.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wonder how this is going to plan out. Speaking of, just a segue, speaking of McGregor, his nemesis, the Diamond. What a crazy timeline that we live in now. We kind of have the opposite. That Rowdy, the notorious Conor McGregor, is the athlete being active right now for fighting. And now Dustin Poirier is in trouble with the law when it comes to, he got kicked out of that, his flying. It looks like he's going through some stuff right now, like he said. But we have kind of touched the subject before about athletes. Sometimes being an athlete becomes their identity. Then whenever they stop doing that, they lose their way and kind of lose their purpose to a certain extent. It's hard to live after that because you have to live the rest of your life after you're gonna be an athlete forever. But the transition is rough as well.
It's clearly it's difficult. I mean,
hmm We
I don't
we
know.
have we have never been that to that extent, as famous as them, never as them, having reaped the rewards of being a champion or interim champion. But you can imagine having gone through that. Feels like you being to the moon and coming back to Earth and live a normal life and try to explain to everyone else.
Well, that's the thing too. Like they've been through so much stress that I feel like there wouldn't be a whole lot to get your nerves up to that to get you excited. You
Yeah.
know,
What kind of challenge can you tabulate to that extent? Only then coaching, that's on level because that's the next level when it comes because it's out of your hands. And life is most of the time it's out of your hands. You to do the transition from an athlete to coaching and do it smoothly. Not so much like pulling the tablecloth off with all the cutlery on top of it, but doing a smooth transition as you're an athlete, you try to coach along the way because you always feel as though that your technique gets better whenever you explain it to other people. And then when you do the transition as well, you vicariously not so much live through them, but kind of reminisce your career of things you went through and trying to give advice to younger athletes of making a smooth sale or transition for them. That's one way. So kind of keeps you young and keep you stress level high, especially when things out of your control. As coaching, you can only communicate, trying to instruct your athletes, but it is really, really stressful. And you have different personalities you have to deal with, and know everyone might buy into the program and the culture of the gym, especially if you go on the gym. Because if you're only going to coach one person, it's one thing, but if you have a whole gym and having a business and trying to coach people, it is difficult. But that's the only avenue that I see a lot of fighters have. For example, Robbie Lawler, he has his own gym now. Cobb Swanson, now he's at his own gym. A lot of jiu-jitsu competitors, they Lucas Lepre and the other ones, Buchecha, they have their gym. Roger Gracie, they have their gym. try to keep him busy, try to give back to the sport. Um, Poirier, he seems like a guy that it is really active. And I mean, he dropped out of school to become a fighter, and that's all he has ever known since fighting and fighting and fighting. So you know the saying, "You are what you do." So he's been doing that since that long. He has a new kid too, so he has some learning to do. I'm not a expert when it comes to addiction because I have been an addict or have those kind of things get out of hand. But it seems that he has some stuff to work through. Even Matt Brown said that he has some work to go through. It's not the end of the world for him. He might get some slack right now, but he is a nice guy. He just had a bad day, and he shouldn't get like severely punished for it for being a freaking person for doing something like that. But for those that are not Dustin Poirier, but are still going through the same thing, just trying to take the bad with the good and the good with the bad at the same time. Because life is rough. He's gonna kick you in the balls regardless. And if you do bad things, he's gonna kick you in the balls, kick you in the ass, and kick you in the face at the same time. So pick your poison. You don't get freaking jumped by life.
Yeah, that's the truth.
And it's always good thing to help. Don't I've heard the saying, I'm not hear the saying pride kills. Have you heard that saying?
That one I haven't actually.
Yeah, this pride kills. If you're too proud to ask for help or for something that you're drowning yourself, that will kill you. So pride is no use unless you're using it as a fuel to get better at things. And even at that, don't let it attach to yourself. Because pride is just a vehicle that you might drive you to the and into a cliff. You don't handle it well. It has no brakes. It has no handle. It has no steering wheel. You just like a freaking shopping cart going down the hill. That's what it is. It is a vehicle, nevertheless, but it does not belong in a place when you are not doing well in life and you might need help. Always reach for help. Life is a marathon. And most of the time, this marathon is a relay. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, yeah, at that point, I feel like you got to reach out for help. Yeah. I mean, I think he said his dad even struggled with it before. So it runs in the family as well. So maybe it's what he grew up seeing, which
Hmm.
also makes it harder, you know? Sometimes you fall back on that sort of thing. Yeah, seems like yeah, he's got to reach out for help, but he's also got to just find the next objective, the next big thing in his life, and try to make himself busy with that. Because I mean, you can't fight forever. It's not possible. So yeah, I mean, maybe nothing matches fighting for the adrenaline and the highs that you get, but hopefully he's able to find something to help substitute that a little bit, at least.
Yeah, it is. As fighters, MMA, you mix martial arts, you get to train in different arts for different purpose. I'm not sure if I'm saying it well, but also when in life you have different battles you have to fight in. Not necessarily in the octagon, not necessarily in a padded room. The other battles you have to deal with freaking life, work, bills, etc., challenges along the day. And not every challenge is a dead end or end all be all. Sometimes things are just a minimal inconvenience, but because you let it pile up so much, it feels as though that is freaking the end of the day. Like you want to run somebody over because like, no, it's just minor inconvenience. You see as such and take it one step at a time, trying to get better. But if you're not able to deal with those things, that's something I learned recently too. Life is rough and if you have a terrible childhood and things that didn't go well in life when you're little, you have to work it through. But before you have a family, you have little ones too, because it's not their fault you have a bad childhood. And if you don't carry those things and offload them, you will carry a blow. You can, I've heard, I don't know if you heard the saying, you cannot carry the bricks and build a different house because it makes for a terrible foundation. So if it's not their fault that you have that kind of, so you have to work it out. It's not, they didn't choose to be here with you. So if you don't take care of that, grief is one of the things that another factor, being life, emotions and things like that. If you don't take care of those, it will take so much space in your life that minimal things will ignite it. It's like literally walking around with two gas cans. And so anybody walking around with a cigarette can freaking blow you up. Or you can burn somebody else that is really close to you, loved ones, without you wanting to, because you just lash out on them. It's not their fault that things are going on bad or having inconvenience, but you have to handle those things. Otherwise, you'll get a hand where you don't want to. Like, you have to learn to handle in the beginning and also learn how to apologize when you're on the wrong too. I'm terrible with that too. I have to learn along the way because my wife say I have a lot of patience, but I have a terrible temper. But it usually comes from when I was little. Whenever you're little, emotions wise, feels like angry is the one thing that scare bad things away from you. But as you get older, you cannot use the anger for everything. You have to be able to navigate in life just having a flamethrower at your hip at people. You have to be able to navigate those emotions because your loved ones will pay for it and your little ones, you don't want them showing them that to navigate through life like that because it's going to be rough for them if they don't know how to handle those emotions as well. So that's something that I've been thinking about lately as far as emotions in life because and there's people around me that know of bad things that happen. And now that you touch the subject about substance abuse in genetic wise, that's a hard one, especially alcoholism. I know this guy that I don't know if I talked to you about him. He was a high school, he has a record for most rush in his high school. Boom. When he just finished college, his dad died of heart attack. And he never came back after that. He started drinking. His mom was a drinker. His aunt was a drinker. His mom passed away from liver failure from drinking too much, and she knew that she was supposed to, and she still was hiding bottles in her room. She passed away. Few years after that, his aunt was found dead from drinking, and it is like the thing I talked about earlier about pride kills. He knew that he was supposed to be doing the same thing, but he knew that he knew the end was coming, and that's a hard thing about addiction and loved ones. You try to steer them so much, try to lead them to the right way, whether it be Alcoholic Anonymous with through religion, higher power, or any kind of means that you try to get them away from addiction. But once the addiction gets a hold of them, they do not care other than the next fix. This person had a accident whenever he was in a new job. He had withdrawals and he fell off a scaffold, had a head injury. He was also from drinking so much. He had a spinal stroke along the way. Yeah, that's how bad it was. And he's sad because he just passed away last month. Found him dead from drinking. The night before, the person that was with him, they was like, "Hey, babe, like you need some help. Like, no, leave me right here." Next morning, dead because he didn't want the help that he needed. And it's sad to see somebody like that because when you see somebody like that, that was somebody's kid, somebody that went to school, he did well in sport, he was going back to that identity thing. He was in different sport. He was in football, wrestling, baseball. So he was structured along the way. So he's always busy doing things. Going to college, it was football. But then when you graduate and you have so much freedom and all this free time, and you have the freedom to do these things. And also just something else, another freaking rant that I'm going to. Whenever you're little, you have so much things structured that you're not allowed to do. For example, not cursing or not doing this and that. so you can keep away distractions. But when you get older, you have the freedom to say whatever the fuck you want. You can do whatever you want. But something along the way, every single little of those things that you let it get out of hand, it will chip away at you and it will take away from you. And sometimes you go down a dark alley and you're just not coming back from it. So you have to be aware of those bad things along. And sometimes it's just life that it might affect you in a certain way is because sometimes life sucks when it comes to all the addictions. You might have an accident. You might have to take painkillers for your injury. And along the way, you still have injuries. You're not able to get the medication from your doctor, and you find street ways to get addicted to other things. And it's sad when people that lose their way because for some reason, I always look at the report from like the sheriff's office and things like people that are arrested. And sometimes some certain drugs, usually for certain age group, they do like, oh, this right here, there. They got caught for pot. The younger people, like something like that. All the people they caught with this, but you see meth in those kind of drugs, heroin, any age group, any social status, all of them are within these freaking drugs that are so addictive, hard to kick. And it's so sad. This feels like a societal cancer of those things. And it's sad because some of those, and then you see some of those stories, especially mock shots of the people in there. And you see the comments, like, oh, this person was a good kid in school, and somewhere along the way, they just lost their way. This person this was my best friend in school. I mean, you seen the one with the guy that he got arrested for? I think it was stealing or something like that. He went in front of the judge, and the judge was his middle school best friend. He remembers, like, oh my God. He started crying because they're both life kind of handle similar hand of cards, but someone on the way they make their bad choices.
Yeah, it can be hard to see. Can be hard to see them too because it doesn't take much, to start down the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
Could be something that seems pretty innocent could lead you in that direction.
Yeah, just one bad night. One bad night. So if that doesn't grip you that one night, you follow you on the. For example, the girl that I don't know if you've seen the Chase. I think that's her name. She was the actress that she did the voice for Lilo in Lilo and Stitch. She died early on this month. She was homeless. She died of organ failure. She had, I think, spinal meningitis. That's what it was. And then they found out the cause of death was she had AIDS. Somewhere along the way, she became homeless and started using syringes and sharing needles. That's what she caught it. Somebody that was, I think she was in The Ring as well. The movie, but someone on the way she lost her way. Yeah, she was The Ring, the movie. But it is sad when that happens. But hopefully we don't see this happen with Dustin Poirier. Yeah, one of the BMF contender fighters love. Though hopefully, I hate to say this, hopefully this will become the next BJ Penn. Which is sad for BJ Penn, even though I heard that he comes from money family. Dustin Poirier, he came poor. I mean, his girlfriend, I mean, at the time, his now wife, used to drive into his MMA fights. College dropout. I can't remember which. I can't remember if he's from Covington. No, Covington is at Theo. Lafayette, that's where he's from. Dustin Poirier, Lafayette, Louisiana. That's the same town as DC. That's where he's from. Lafayette, Louisiana. One of the poorest states in the country. One of the most poorest state in the union. But the Bayou came out of him though. Whenever he was in the airport. And that crazy thing is how fast news spread. I Because for how long he had been doing charity event what's the name of the his fundraiser? He's damn, I can't remember his name. The name of it. The Good Fight. I think that's what it is. He like raised money for Second Harvest Food Bank. He paid 5,000, 5,100. Somebody paid for his shirt, gloves, cap, and hand wraps, shorts back in 2018. That's when he founded the Good Fight Foundation. He the proceeds of the auctions of UFC 120, UFC Fox 8, the fight kit as well. Money were raised to the families of deceased Lafayette police officer and Academia Outreach Center, respectively. He also auctioned UFC on Fox 30 fight kit and used the money to raise 500 mag packs for school children in his hometown in Lafayette. None of this was covered this whole time. One incident in the airport, everybody saw it. That's the life cycle, the news cycle that we live in.
Yes, yes. Well, I mean, that's kind of. I feel like that's always the thing. Even before media got huge, I feel like the bad reputation grows a lot faster than the good one.
Yeah. Now we have the media and the means to spread even globally. But hopefully he's able to go back to his way of, fundraiser or coaching, whatever it might be, to be able to keep him busy. He has his hot sauce as well, as far as his business. And I remember him talking before retiring about he had an idea of making some sort of traveling show or cooking show in which he goes to different gyms and he just tests out restaurants in the area and then just have a good time eating with some of the fighters and training with them at the same time. Gonna kill two birds with one stone, and he also sponsor his hot sauce that he has. Yeah, something to keep him busy as far as because it seems like he will be busy now with the commentating part, the commentating gig for the UFC and the talk show that he has with other fighters. But it just seems like he's taking some side quests.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's that versus the training that he at least used to do. I don't know if he's still training as much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that training, he's got to be training a lot before. And
Mm-hmm.
so now that's a lot of hours that he's freed up that maybe a talk show and commentating wouldn't take up.
Yeah. I think I've seen a video where he was training at home because he had a little one. Like I said, he had a little one, so I guess he doesn't have that much time to go into the gym. But also, he is on the sauce as well. He's on TRT, so also, I don't want to speculate, but do you think he was raging at the same time as being drunk at the
Yeah.
airport? Because it's
Yeah,
not like
sure.
him to act that way. That might be another extra sauce that he was using little saucy too much. That might be causing his outrage during that time. But hopefully he's able to figure it out, get better, man. The help that he need. He might just have to take some time off social media, especially. He has a kid to take care of. He can still do his media responsibility. Just have to lose his job because that's his gig now, I guess. But take some time off and get things figured out because he is a good guy. Everybody likes him. We will hate to see him go the wrong path, getting lost like other athletes. But I don't have anything else for today. Okay, you wanna close out?
Sure. Thank you guys for listening. Um, Give us a listen on Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. Follow us on Instagram. Let us know what you like and what you don't like. See you guys next time.
Thanks for tuning in to the Mad Matters podcast. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and YouTube so you never miss an episode. Drop us a review, share with your training partners, and keep rolling on and off the mat. Until next time, keep fighting, keep learning, keep growing.